This is the Sports Dynasty Podcast, back and better than ever. Hiatus is over, and the Dream Team is back.
We are back, the originals. We have to say that now.
Yes. And for those who don't know, we have expanded. The Dynasty has expanded. We do have two new teams with us. The MLB. If you like MLB, we got you covered. You like NBA, we got you covered.
Yup, I believe the NBA and MLB already came out last night. We really got our NBA content without me. I'm not in that. We have a different host. So, different perspective, but still the same awesome. And MLB by Friday. We'll have MLB episodes by Friday.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun. For any show that you should be watching all of us.
You should be listening to all of us, yes.
Love us. If you're interested in a particular sport, definitely we got all the bases covered for you. But the same show, different shows, same result. Like, share, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Play
it's been
Radio,
a while.
at Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. Yeah, I messed up on that part. It's been a while. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Type in Sports Dynasty Podcast, and you will see us and the new team right there.
Proceed.
We have an action-packed episode today. We got the NFL free agency is upon us soon. We got some franchise tags to discuss, and our good friend Jack finally got his money.
Finally got paid.
For his money. Now it has come to some, very polarizing comments, very polarizing because I think Dak Prescott is great. I think he's a good player. He's a good quarterback. He has the potential to be really, really good. It's just that catastrophic injury early in the year was just brutal for the Cowboys. Literally just ended their season right there.
Cost them a division championship. Because I swear, if he was healthy, that was an easy win for them. Their Cowboys were going to be in the playoffs.
And a lot of people say, and this is so I believe it says at 124 million guaranteed, which is the second highest.
124, 126, something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Obviously behind Pat Mahomes, which is ridiculous. And there's some people that was like wondering, saying, is it really worth it? I remember yesterday, I had posted this yesterday in the group yesterday, and I believe our friend Anthony, he's a great guy. He's from Texas, so he's very familiar with Cowboys.
Hopefully we have him on one day. It'll be great to see how. I want to know what he thinks because he put some interesting comments in the group.
Yeah. I mean, he hates the Cowboys though, but he's from the area, so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
yeah, he hates the Cowboys.
Same difference. It'll be funny to listen to him make fun of them too. I mean, I don't care.
But he was saying that that he feels that he doesn't deserve the money. A lot of people saying that he doesn't deserve the money because you only have won one playoff game. Like the team has been very I think they've underachieved a lot, which is true. You can't blame that, but they underachieved with Tony Romo. They underachieved with you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the early days in Dallas and early 2000s, they underachieved. So it's like, I understand when you come in, but at the end of the day, it's like Dak Prescott is a pretty good talent, and you had to try to snatch him up. You had to wrap him up and lock him in for the next couple of years because someone was going to do it.
Let's put it this way. You saw the immediate causes of his absence last year. Andy Dalton wasn't doing nothing. He completely disappointed all of us because we thought he would be at least a little something. Jesus, he was garbage. Then they had the Nucci Italian, whatever his name guy, playing after him. Jesus. So you saw the results, and they were still in the mix for that garbage division up until the final week. You telling me Dak Prescott wasn't going to win at least 2 extra games to win the division? Yes, the heck he was. Very easily would have. And before Dak Prescott got hurt, he was grading in an 85 range in PFF, which is what at the time was like 3rd highest. And right now is like 4th or 5th highest. They only got Brady and Rodgers in the 90s and everybody else in the 80s. So Dak Prescott was on par to have by far his best career rating before he broke his ankle. So, I mean
it's not his, and also you have to remember, it's not his fault that his defense was garbage.
Yes, exactly.
Especially early on, they were historically bad. They were historically paced to be really bad early on in the year.
Yes, they were.
Because wow, so can't really blame him for that. And then it's like,
Excuse
again,
my tea, by the way, everybody.
it's fine, it's fine. Especially, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a quarterback league, driven league.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to succeed, you need a quarterback. And Dak Prescott has the goods. He's gonna be good. I have chance he's gonna be good, be great. And this was a no-brainer. He said he wanted $40 million a year. Like people say, or whatever. They kind of gave him in that range anyway. And I was saying before, he'd be stupid not to sign it.
Yeah, he would
He'd
be.
be stupid not to sign it. You know what I'm saying? I understand he was disrespected when they franchised him last year. I get it, but you gotta understand the grand scheme of things. Listen, I personally believe everything happens for a reason. Good things happen to those who wait, which is actually, I'm glad I said that because it's gonna tie into the other topics later. That sometimes you have to wait. Good things happen to those who wait, and maybe the deal that you had before wasn't what you wanted, but now I think this deal is no brainer for both parties.
I agree. It was a no-brainer, 100%. Looking at the division, who's getting that much better? Just keep it real. Philly's not gonna get better. That's a joke. Giants feel like it's gonna be standstill. Yeah, Philly's worse. Yeah. And then the Washington, well, they have a chance to get better, and we'll talk about that later on. But with Dak Prescott, they're automatically, to me, arguably the favorites for the division. With just a healthy Dak Prescott, they're already winning 8-9 games because their receiving core is one of the best still in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb made some crazy strides, so he's gonna do some savage work. You know what I'm saying? And all they gotta do is put a couple pieces here in the offensive line. They're gonna be a top 5 offense, and they're gonna win games in that division. So like they needed to sign that dude just to stay relevant. So it's fine. But now that's out of the way because that was an obvious topic that you guys heard about all freaking week long. Let's talk about another topic that arose yesterday with the franchise tag fiesta that happened yesterday. 9 players got franchise tag. And I have the list right here on me. It is going to be Giants defensive lineman Leonard Williams, Washington's guard Brandon Sheriff. For some, I really don't understand this one. Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson, God bless his soul. Bucks wide receiver Chris Godwin, Jaguars offensive tackle Ken Robinson, Panthers offensive tackles Taylor Moton, Broncos safety Justin Simmons for a second time, and I believe Brandon Sheriff got tagged for a second time straight too. Jets, you're right. Jets safety Marcus May, who had a great season, and Saints safety. I don't know how they're able to do this, but they're doing it. Safety Marcus Williams. Yeah. The tags go as high as $19 million for Leonard Williams. He's getting paid $19 million to be a mediocre pass rusher and a pretty decent run stuffer. Okay. Sheriff's getting paid $18 million, but he's one of the best guards in the NFL, so I guess that's okay. Allen Robinson also getting $18 million. Whoa. Chris Godwin's getting paid $15.9. Cam Robinson's getting paid $13 million, but he's not even that good. Taylor Moton's getting paid $13 million. I didn't hear his name until this franchise tag popped up, so I don't think he's worth that $13 million either. Justin Simmons getting paid $13 million. He was arguably the best safety in the NFL, so. And for it to be a second straight time, only getting paid $13 million, kind of shows how cheap safeties come. Marcus May gets paid $10, and Marcus Williams getting paid $10. So those are the money lines. So the question is, who was worth the tag and who wasn't?
I'm gonna start with who wasn't, and I'm gonna have to say Leonard Williams. But I get, if you notice that the market for defensive tackle, especially around this time, it's really low and everything. And a lot of times they kind of lock everybody up early.
Yeah.
Especially the really good ones. Leonard Williams is pretty. I'm not gonna lie to you, like career high 30 quarterback hits. He had 11 and a half sacks. The first season with Patrick Graham, but I'm just thinking he's very underwhelming player. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He's an interior defensive lineman that's not named Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
like
I mentioned before, that those type of players they lock up quick. So it's like, it kind of like, I mean, for him it's great. For him it's like, hey man, I'm getting paid $14 million.
He's getting $19 million guaranteed. All $19 million is his as long as he stays healthy. It's like, why not? But at the end of the day, I get these players why they get upset though, because there's no security.
Yeah, I understand.
That's my
I
understanding.
understand. But I think with him is like for the market for his position is like okay, this is ridiculous. So it's like okay, if I could be a mediocre player, and given the market is I can make that money for 1 year, then just bet on myself next year. So it's like for him, it's a no brainer. So
What's
for him, it's like
What's
it's
funny
okay for
about
him.
this though is that the Giants have another interior defensive lineman who's not as good as him, but can do the same things, and he's projected to get like half the money that Leonard Williams is getting right now. So it's kind of insane that they're paying $20 million basically to one guy that's not a quarterback.
It's
To
true.
me, that's insane. Like, there's no way he's worth $19 million. Anybody else?
That I mean that's the one that stands out as far as like like that's not really worth it. Um, that's why I think makes sense and why I think that good things happen to those who wait. Allen Robinson. I mean, Allen Robinson. I know he probably be like, wait a minute, he played pretty decent last year, but he had a lot of serious interest and everything. But I think he's supposed to make $18 million a year
Mm-hmm.
with this franchise tag. And I think that, it's kind of like similar to Dak. He said, I don't want to be franchised, but like I want to get money. But I think good things happen to those who wait. I think that someone is going to give him a bigger contract after next year, just because the need of wide receiver is, especially in certain teams, they need receivers bad.
Yeah, like the team you're
Like I
wearing
mean,
right now.
yes, like us. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was one of the go further on to the show.
Yeah.
I have mentioned it too. But yeah, so I think for him, $18 million. This is just for me. It's like the blessing in disguise. I think that that next year someone will give him a bigger contract and it'll be worth it at the end of the day for him at least, for him because he's obviously, I mean, money makes everyone happy, and whoever team and depending on this team that signs him, I feel that a contender could use him immediately. I think he goes to a contender that could afford him. Then
Definitely.
hey, it's good for them. But that's usually for the rest of them was like Chris Godwin. Obviously, that was a no brainer. Obviously, you know he was so good. He was so pretty good last year. Tom Brady loved him as you can see. Very vital in that championship in the Super Bowl he played early in the month. So it's like, hey man,
Yeah,
obviously
and
you had to
in the NFC Championship game, yeah, he was very,
yeah
very, very vital.
at least they were able to like I mean, obviously they had a lot of those players that in that Super Bowl team. Obviously, they want the money too, but I think receiver, like I said, is a really important position especially for contenders. And you still have the greatest quarterback of all time throwing to you for another year. So hey, who knows? He may make more money next year, especially if they play well this year.
What's interesting about Tampa Bay though is that since he's getting franchise tagged, Shaquille Barrett is now a free agent. So
I
interesting, who's gonna give him the bag? I'm interested.
I'm interested in that too, honestly. But he definitely deserves it though. But yeah, I mean, obviously this happens usually when Super Bowl teams win. Players like we see all the time. We see all the time. They just clean. They just it's a revolving door. They want to get paid, and I respect it. Good for them. But very interesting though.
Yeah, very interesting. It's kind of crazy though. You see the deficits in cash when you see these franchise tags though. Because if you guys don't know, the franchise tag is the average of the highest salaries for a position. That's what it is. And then the more you get franchised, the more money you're getting. Hence why I was Leonard Williams tag last year?
I believe he was traded. He was traded. I believe. Yeah, he was.
I
He
think
was.
he was,
Yeah.
right? That's why he's
Yeah.
19
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
He was, I knew it. And Sheriff got tagged again. That's why he has the 18 million. But it's crazy when you go down the list, you see safety. The safeties, the biggest one is 13 million. That's from a guy who got tagged twice. It's crazy how safeties don't get paid. It's interesting to see that. Versus the wide receiver is 15, 16, 17, 18 million. For defensive line, 20. Like, it's crazy where the NFL prioritizes their money hit. You can see it in these franchise tags. Crazy. I just thought I'd just put that
Yeah.
out there for the guys, everybody to think about. But now, speaking of where money's going, let's talk about where the money should go, shall we?
Yes.
So, on freaking Citizen Zap and freaking You heard that, right?
That's the same thing too.
Right? I gotta be safe. I gotta be safe. His app tells me, what's going on around the block, just in case something happens. Something happens down the block. I avoid that side of the block. You know what I mean? That's what it's for. Life saving. Right?
Yes.
So
very vital.
Yeah. So now we're talking about the top salary cap teams, meaning the teams who have the highest salary cap. What is their salary cap as of right now? And who are the top 3 players they should get?
Okay.
Disclaimer, I did this yesterday, right before a lot of people got tagged and or signed. So there are some duds now because they are in their teams. You will find out in a minute, but I'm just saying. So let me go down through the first, I think, 10 or 11 that are in the salary cap, and I'm going to tell you their salary cap, and we're going to talk about them. So the Jaguars have $73 million in salary cap money right now. Next is the New York Jets with $69 million. Then is New England Patriots with $68 million, which is the first time ever that New England got this much money, and there's a reason for it. The Colts have $46 million. Mind you, they traded for Carson Wentz, so I guess maybe that cap will go way down when the new league year hits next week. But as of right now, they have $46 million. The Bengals have $42 million. The Washington football team has $38 million. Broncos has $32 million. That's an interesting one. The Chargers have $26 million. The Dolphins, another interesting one, has $24 million. And the Browns have $24 million also. And the 49ers have $23 million. They still have some money to play with for a team that's basically injury-riddled destruction away from basically going to the NFC Championship game again last year. Because that was the same squad. They still have about $23 million left to go. So for the Jaguars, the 3 players that I was highlighting based on what they're about to do was Marcus Williams, who got franchise tag yesterday. Safety John Johnson, who was from the Rams, who had an 85 grade, who played absolutely phenomenally in that Rams defense. And offensive tackle Darrell Williams from the Bills. Since they tagged Cam Robinson, they can match up with another tackle in Darrell Williams, who have stability in both of those tackle positions we're assuming is going to be Trevor Lawrence, who will get drafted next month. So he already comes in with already 2 decent tackles, an all right and very young wide receiving core, and an up-and-coming running back. So that's a pretty good core to start with for Trevor Lawrence. So that's why I thought that those should have been it. And since the corners that they got, like C.J. Henderson, for example, who they drafted last year, are young, elite safety play will mask a lot of their deficiencies to let them to grow more. So I thought that is a good way to start for Urban Meyer to start building the team little by little. As long as they stay patient. We'll see if they stay patient. For the Jets, I said they should go out and get Kenny Golladay. Go match him up with Denzel Mims, and they already have Jamison Crowder, which is like one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. Get Kenny Golladay to match up, and I don't know who's gonna be quarterback as of right now. We don't know if it's Justin Fields, if it's Sam Darnold staying, or if it's is it Zach Wilson. That's the other one, right?
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, one of the 3. I don't know which one is gonna be, but between those 3, they'll come up with a nice trio of wide receivers to play with. And I said, since they got the cap, get Hunter Henry too. Might as well load up.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well.
And their center position is absolutely disgusting. So I'd say the 2 best centers that are actually free agents right now is Corey Linsley of the Green Bay Packers, who was the best center probably by far, and David Andrews, our David Andrews, who was a free agent who has not signed by the Patriots yet. He's also available. So there's 2 of the top centers. They should try to get one of them. Be hilarious to get if they get David Andrews to, put a big middle finger in our faces. But one of those 2.
I said that earlier. I think before the season ended, I said that. I said for us was I think Tooney and David Andrews more likely one of them people that can come back. And you say, oh, you think they'll probably resign them. I don't know because I don't one of them's not gonna stay there. But I already mentioned that too. Well, mention that.
We're next because we're next right now. So 68 Patriots, David Andrews, get him back ASAP, please, for the love of Jesus, get David Andrews back. That's our anchor of the offensive line. Please get him back. Otherwise, there's going to be massive issues. I say we should get a defensive lineman. Remember the Giants guy I told you about? That's right under Leonard Williams. His name is Dalvin Tomlinson, a really, really good run stuffer. The one deficiency that we have on the defense is run stuffing. It's absolutely disgusting. We can't stop the run. He was one of the best run stuffing players in the league. Dalvin Tomlinson, a defensive inside, who's not going to even cost that much because he's an interior defensive lineman. Get him to plug it in. And maybe we'll still be able to afford Lawrence Guy, so we have 2. And then Curtis Samuel. He's a Swiss Army knife wide receiver who can do multiple things, not just play regular X receiver routes. He can play slot. He's a special teams player. He can do other in the round things. He can do a lot of interesting things with the football. So, and Josh McDaniels will love to have a player like that. And then maybe that will get Element to stay in the slot. That'll get Nikhil to stay at the Z side. So all he gotta do is run verticals and moss people, because that's what he's supposed to be doing. So hopefully they use him correctly this time. And Curtis Samuel in the mix will be able to get those guys in the right positions for them to succeed. Hopefully. But who are we talking about here? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now also we have to address, that's all fire and dandy and all, but who's going to throw the ball?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm like, everything was perfect. All doesn't matter, like who's going to throw the ball to them.
Look, I'm trying to be optimistic, and I'll think about that position, even though that's the position that is the need by far. Most people think we're going to get Cam Newton back, and every time that they say that, I want to throw up. But then when I think about it, that kind of smells like what's about to happen. Because who else are we going to get? Like, Garoppolo's not going nowhere. Like, they trying to hype up Garoppolo. He ain't going nowhere. He's staying in San Francisco. Stop playing. And then, like, who else? If they get Mariota, I'm literally going to jump out my window right now. If I see an update saying we trade for Mariota, I'm jumping out that window right now. This is not a suicidal note in the show, by the way. I'm kidding, but I'm going to flip out.
We will be very upset, and it may be another rant on GM Bill.
May? Ooh. You thought the San Francisco one was bad, guys? What? Oh, no. But yeah. So next team, the Colts. Might as well rent Trent Williams. He was one of the best tackles in the game last year. Anthony Costanzo low-key retired, because I didn't even know he retired until I just saw it in a pop-up. Like, there was no announcement. So they have no tackle right now. So rent Trent Williams, who was better than Costanzo anyway, for a year, and try to develop another one. Perfect. I'd say, this is an interesting one. I want to see what you think about this. Maybe they should try and get Sherman. Sherman's a free agent.
Oh, really?
He's past his prime, but they run a zone-heavy scheme. So Sherman, the genius that he is, very smart, one of the smartest players I've ever seen, all he has to do is stay in his lane, use his brain, and he doesn't have to really chase anyone the way that he was doing in other places. He usually played in a zone scheme anyway, but I think San Fran did play a little bit more man than Seattle did. So here, he doesn't have to run man at all. He runs zone. He'd be able to mentor some of the younger corners and be able to stay in his element. And plus, the Colts have one of the best defensive lines of football anyway. So he won't have to cover as long as that defensive line hits. So I think Sherman actually will fit really well in the zone-heavy scheme in Indianapolis. And speaking of pass rush, since Justin Houston is gone because, he's old as crap, Melvin Ingram, he's a free agent. He's a little bit past his prime too, but so was Justin Houston, and he was doing work. Melvin Ingram, a little bit injury-prone, but with DeForest Buckner and the rest of this ridiculously good line, I think Melvin Ingram will fill in the same role that Justin Houston did and probably do it better as a situational pass rusher.
It makes sense. We didn't have to do much. The defense is already stacked already.
Exactly.
So at least you just that does make sense. It does make sense.
Exactly right.
Especially Melvin Ingram finally gets to play for a contender.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Try to chase a ring. Exactly right. That's the top three. They need other though. They need a wide receiver. T.Y. Hunton, they're probably gonna resign most likely. I can't see T.Y. Hunton in another uniform that's not Indianapolis at this point. So he's probably gonna stay there with a hometown discount. But they do need another playmaker too. Indy. There's one more for Carson Wentz. But yeah. They don't need much. They're the third best team, at least the third best team in the AFC. So they don't need much. So that's why I didn't put really big names. So they're still gonna have cap remaining after the three that they signed, if they sign these three. So the Sherman one I'm really interested to see. I think he'll really, really do well there. Okay, the Bengals. Joe Thuney.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have to say much more. Joe Burrow needs to stay healthy for once because you guys broke his leg. So Joe Thuney. And apparently that's his hometown, likely. If I'm not mistaken. I think he's an Ohio kid. So
yeah, he is from Ohio.
Yeah, so.
And I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense more because if Luckily if nobody ahead of them in the drafts Polo Sewell, which I think that's guaranteed. They need to get Sewell. I believe at first before the season ended, I thought, all right, he's going to the Jets. The number 2 is going to the Jets. But I don't know about that. He might go to, I think, Cincinnati. He falls to them. You have to take him. You got to take him.
Yeah, I think there's 2 teams that in play for him. I think is Miami's 3rd, right?
Yeah, Miami's 3rd.
Them or Cincy. I think the Jets, they already drafted a top tackle last year, so I don't think they're going to do it twice. I mean, there's no harm in doing that, but I think they're going to get the quarterback. That's what I think they're going to do. So Miami needs that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take that. Or if he falls to a 4 for Cincy going to nab him, no question. No question. So I agree with that. Linebacker Denzel Perryman of the Chargers. He's a big run-stuffing linebacker. Old school, but the Bengals needed that for years. Since Vontaze Burfict left the team, they never had anyone to stop the run.
I might see it because if you're a Bengals fan, I already know, like when they on defense, having them have 100-yard runners every single game, I know it's hard to watch because that last year historically bad.
Yep.
Bad, like it was terrible.
Easy
and
run,
I
easy.
And I thought that our run defense was bad last year.
It was.
Not to compare to them.
No.
No.
That's what I'm saying. They need that that's desperately, and to re-sign their best defensive lineman, Carl Lawson. Get him back. Since he's good at taking care of their own, so he's gonna get signed by them. I don't see him going anywhere either. But yeah, they're gonna re-sign Carl Lawson, but they need the defensive line because Geno Atkins getting old. You see it. And the fact that they let go, they didn't let go of Carlos Dunlap. Carlos Dunlap said, "Get me the hell out of here" instead. So they don't have no choice there either. But they'll probably address more defensive ends in the draft. But get Carl Lawson back. At least have a veteran who knows the system, who knows your stuff. Get him back. This is my favorite. This is my favorite team to work on because Washington has a couple of holes that this free agent class kind of fills up really well, and this is why I didn't want to say Dallas is a lock in the division lead, because Washington, if they get some good things in this free agent class, and if Heineke's not a bum, they can win 11 games this year, and I'm gonna tell you why. First, I think they should really try to get Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm gonna tell you why. Terry McLaurin is a bona fide number 1 receiver. He is the guy. There's no question. Without his injuries last year, he would have hit 1,000 again yards easily. With the monstrosity that was quarterback, he still would have hit 1,000 yards. So you already know that Terry McLaurin is a special player. So that's your number 1, easy. Juju is best when he is in the slot and when he is wide receiver 2. Just like 2018, 2017, right? When Antonio Brown was the main guy. Juju basically had more yardage and more stats than Antonio Brown did in 2018. Besides the turmoil that was happening in Pittsburgh with all the drama, he's best as a number 2. So if you pair him at number 2 or primarily in the slot with Terry McLaurin, there is no excuse for any quarterback to at least be average. There's no excuse. With those two together, I think that is a match made in heaven. One of the best duos in the league, I'll go as far. Because Juju, as much as we made fun of Juju last year, and he deserved it, and as much as we clowned Juju the year before too, as number 1, he's a really good player at the end of the day. So, and I would like for them to get paired with tight end Jonnu Smith. He didn't get a lot of fair shake in Tennessee. They didn't use him much. And I don't think it's because he underperformed. I just think they just didn't implement him as much as they should have. I think he's a really good pass-catching tight end. So they can use that to pair him along with Logan Thomas at their tight end core. Those two with a nice duo, and then with Antonio Gibson in the back, and then they franchise-tagged Brandon Sheriff. That's a core on offense for Washington. And you know the defense is good. So with all that, come on now. And I added a fun one just because why not? I think they could use a little bit more coverage on the linebacking core. So I said, why not get Jayon Brown from the Tennessee Titans too? Make Tennessee even worse, right? Get their best coverage linebacker who covers in and out. And remember, in this division, there are a lot of good players that kills underneath. So like Dallas Goedert from Philadelphia, Miles Sanders from Philadelphia, all kill underneath. Saquon Barkley can catch. Evan Ingram, he can't catch, but he does get open underneath. Ezekiel Elliott, who's underrated pass catcher. and Tony Pollard, who was a really good monster in Dallas. Those are some players, and each of the 3 teams in your division that is murderous underneath. Jayon Brown can help you cover those guys. Those are 3 I think that Washington get. That's fun. I had fun with them. I was looking around. I was like, oh, yes. I think those 3 accusations can make this team a lot better. A lot better. Yeah. Denver. So their center position is even worse than I imagined. So apparently Lloyd Cushenberry, the rookie center, graded a 40 in PFF. That's beyond disgusting. So they need a center. So I say, you know what? Just if Green Bay for some reason doesn't re-sign Corey Linsley, go get him. Offer him whatever he wants and get him in there because you need a center ASAP. ASAP. As much as we clown Drew Lock, and he sucks, the line didn't give him no favors, dude. Like, they really didn't. That line was bad. Yeah, and then especially Linsley and them at the backfield, they didn't get much burn because that line was garbage. So get a center ASAP.
It also helps now because now you have John Elway not in charge of the GM part of it. So at least you have a different perspective and a different set of eyes and different set of ears that in front office that can able to put these players in.
Definitely.
But right, I mean, so it makes sense though. But going back to that, the offensive line, especially center position, was dreadful. And I can't. I don't like not saying bad things about Drew Lock because I was rooting for him like early on.
Nah, dude,
but he's not good, man.
Dude,
it's not good.
That was bad. Next, re-signed their best defensive lineman, Shelby Harris. A really good interior defensive lineman that no one knows about, who's actually well-rounded in both pass defense and rush defense. He rushed the passer pretty well for a big guy. So they should try to get that and give Bradley Chubb some help. Because I'm interested to see what they're going to do about Von Miller. They didn't cut him yet, right? There's no news. Do you know? I don't remember.
They were saying they were going to cut him.
But they haven't yet.
They haven't released it yet. No.
Okay.
You saw picked them up already.
Yeah, so maybe they're talking about restructures. Because they should restructure his deal.
Yeah.
And then speaking of help for Bradley Chubb, this is the first double I think I have in this list. Melvin Ingram. I think Melvin Ingram's going to get a lot of offers next week. And Broncos, they should try to get that. If for some reason Von Miller doesn't come back, if they don't restructure and he gets cut, then a cheaper option, Melvin Ingram. Go get him. Why not? Keep that pass rush up because they're more than likely going to address secondary in the draft because, my God, they need cornerbacks. That Denver secondary. But there's not many good ones in this free agent class. Only William Jackson. And everybody else is So they're
pretty decent corners in this draft, especially in the first and second round.
That's what I'm saying. That's probably what they're gonna address, I think. So just try to get your defensive lineman now. There's pretty decent ones in this free agent, so they'll do that. All right, other Chargers. They have a lot of needs, but they're not. I don't think there's any glaring outside of offensive line. So I thought that they should get a Steelers veteran and Matt Fielder. I think he was their right guard. I forget which guard it is. It's one of the guard positions. They need that. I think that's what they need the most in their team, in the Chargers offensive line. So try to get him for a cheap deal. They only have $26 million in salary cap. That's not that much. So that's why I didn't say go get Tooney or something because that's too much money. So I say get Fielder. He's not going to cost that much. So that's a good veteran to have in your offensive line. At first, I did say get Levante David if you're going to splash, but Tampa Bay signed him yesterday. So that's an X. And for safety, because they do need safeties too, ex-Cowboy safety Xavier Woods. A good average safe safety. No pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
He does everything good. He's not great. He's not extravagant. He will help you with your deep pass coverage. Really good. Safe. And it should be cheap. That's the reason why I put him here. It shouldn't cost that much. All right. The Dolphins. There you go. I don't know what I slipped my mind. So Dolphins with $24 million in cap space. Go get Marvin Jones. He's more versatile than people think. He can play some slot. He's good on the outside. He has sure hands. Great number 2. Assuming that Devontae Parker stays healthy, I think that's a good pairing for him. It'll be pretty close to what Detroit had. Just that the Dolphins not going to mess it up the way Detroit did. So those 2 right there. With Gesicki, that's not bad, assuming Tua is not as bad as we think he is. they need some guard play, and there are not many good ones outside of like the first three. So I said, you know what? Jermaine Ifedi had an okay year in Chicago. If you're an offensive lineman who played okay in Chicago, then that's pretty good. That means you're worth something in the NFL. So why not give Jermaine Ifedi a try? He's not gonna be worth a lot, so try it out. And an interesting one that I'm surprised is not getting much burn. They do need safeties in Dolphins, so why not get Deron Harmon? Deron Harmon's available. He's again a safe safety. Like in New England, he was the guy that was covering the back a little bit more often than McCourty was, and he was the closer. He was the one that ended games. So you already got Xavier Howard at top corner. You got Byron Jones, who I'm sure will play a lot better in the second year with Brian Flores' system. Why not have Deron Harmon, who gonna know the system, so you don't have to really groom him up or anything, and have someone to be a nice anchor in the backfield for you guys. When you're playing the Kansas City types, Deron Harmon should help you with that deep passing. And we got two more. The Browns. Surprisingly, they have 24 million cap space. Guess because it's not paying Baker yet. That's why.
Yeah.
So they need cornerback help. So I said, why not try out the Desmond King project? Because he had one ridiculously good year, and then he had this little turmoil thing with the Chargers. And when he went to Tennessee is like where DBs go to die. So he had no chance at Tennessee. So he was garbage. So, but when he is on, he's one of the best slot corners in the game. So why not Browns? Because you already have Denzel Ward. Why not give Desmond King a try to see if we can give you the Chargers match he gave up back in 2018? Try it out.
There were rumors. I like you mentioned the cornerbacks. There were rumors that they were in play for possible trade with Stephon
Gilmore. Yeah.
That's if New England, which I think New England should pay him. If you're gonna pay him. If you can't seem to get the deal, then find the best deal for him. But Cleveland seems to be very aggressive because, like you mentioned, they need secondary help, and I think Stephon Gilmore is still one of the best corners in the league. In Cleveland, that's gonna be like, okay, now you pretty much address the need there. Now let's see what we can do after that.
Yeah.
Because the defense was horrible.
Absolutely disgusting. No question about that.
But
what? I don't hate the trade, but it depends when New England gets back. Like if they get back Odell Beckham, then I'm fine with that trade. But I'm hearing about David Njoku. I'm like, I know that's not enough for Stephon Gilmore.
No,
that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing that like, no, I don't want that. Odell Beckham Jr., however, I'll take that. Just saying. And I don't like Odell Beckham Jr. at all. I never thought he was all that. But with New England, I think he'll be good. Again, like we all said earlier, assuming who's throwing the football. But assuming we have somebody who knows how to throw a football, or assuming that Jarrett Stidham isn't the bum that we all swear he is, maybe that he'll be good. But but we don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Odell Beckham I like. Re-sign Olivier Vernon. He's old, so he shouldn't be more expensive anymore. And he does produce in this Cleveland defensive line with Myles Garrett. So let's get him back. He shouldn't be cost nothing. And this is another fun one. This is assuming they wind up doing this trade and they say they get Stephon Gilmore and they give up Odell Beckham. Will Fuller is available.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good replacement. He's, I think he's younger. Yeah, he's younger. They have around the same injury history. They both not reliably healthy, but there is a lot of proof that Will Fuller is wonderful at the number 2 receiver spot with a receiver who is great at possession. Jarvis Landry is a great possession receiver. So with Will Fuller, they are going to open up the deep passing game so much because Will Fuller is one of the best deep threats in the NFL. So Will Fuller, if you got rid of Odell Beckham's big like $14-15 million cap hit, get rid of that, but throw it into New England's hands. Go ahead and spend that extra money and get Will Fuller.
Makes sense.
Yeah, man. And plus, he's suspended for a few games too, so the price tag shouldn't be that much because he's not even gonna play the first few games. Because I think he still got to serve more of the suspension, I believe. So that price tag is gonna go down a little bit.
I think it's like 2 or 3 more games to serve before these 2 or 3 more games.
Yep. So that I think that'd be fun. And the 49ers. So the one thing they need is injury luck. Don't get injured again. But besides that, they have $23 million cap space. They're going to lose Sherman probably. But I think the safety position needs more help because a couple of those corners actually played decently well last year. The defense was still pretty good. Despite all the injuries they took all year, that San Francisco defense was still pretty good. So those corners stepped up their game. So I think safety can use some help. And the safety from Minnesota, Anthony Harris, is a great free safety. I think that is a good player they should try out. If they're going to spend any money, that's what probably they should spend money on. Anthony Harris, a great free safety, helps deep coverage, keeps everything underneath, and let the corners and let Fred Warner and company fly underneath. I think he'll help a lot. I think that would be a great signing. And for some more defensive line depth like they need it, but it doesn't hurt to have infinite trench play. How about getting Derek Wolfe? I like Derek Wolfe as a situational pass rusher. He's been very serviceable since he was in Denver early in the decade. Why not try to get him and get more defensive line depth? That's it. They don't need much. The San Francisco's beautiful. They do need a tackle, but they'll probably draft that. I'm saying, but they don't really need much. So it was kind of the fact that they had 23 million in cap space still is amazing to me from a team who's gonna be a Super Bowl contender when healthy. So I said, let's get those two guys, draft well, and they're back in business in the NFC Championship game picture. Yeah,
definitely.
So those are the 11 teams that have the highest caps as of right now. Seattle just today the cap went up, got set rather. So Seattle actually has 20 million themselves. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. I didn't have time to research that, so I didn't do that. But those are the teams that have the highest right now. I think there are only 9 teams under the cap right now. And Saints went from 100 and something to 47 negative. So they're making moves.
There is currently 7.
7. Oh, even better.
No. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 9.
There is 9. Okay.
9.
9
Yeah,
under. So they have a week and change to fix that before the new league year hits. I believe it's exactly 1 week from today, the 17th. Yep, the day Tom Brady left us. Not St. Patrick's Day. It doesn't exist. It's the day Tom Brady left us.
You had to put that there.
Of course. It's almost a 1 year anniversary. It's 358 days. Next week's gonna 365. Yep.
That's crazy, but it was good though, man. This is good.
Yeah, man. It felt good to do this. It's been weeks since we recorded an episode.
I know, man. And we're just getting started. Like I said, the work never stops here. Like I said,
definitely not.
Like, share, subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Radio, Digital Play Radio, app podcast, Dynasty on Twitter. We have Instagram and Facebook. Type in Sports Dynasty Podcast. You'll see us right there. Remember, the Dynasty is expanding. You know, even though we're expanding, the content's still the same. This is still your podcast. Come in, join us. Anything you want to say? The draft is coming. Free agency is coming. If you want to voice your opinion, we're not that hard to find. Hit us up, and we will make it happen.
All the time.
And we appreciate the support everybody has given us. And like I said, it's just the beginning. I can't wait. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, man.
It's exciting.
Like I said early in the podcast, the NBA episode is up. That covered All-Star Sunday. That covered the first half of the NBA season. That covers surprises and disappointments. We covered it all. Go check it out. Check out our new host. He's awesome. He's better than I can ever be when it comes to NBA. He's way smarter than I am. So go check him out. He's awesome. And I think it's gonna be Friday. They're about to record MLB today.
Yeah.
So by Friday, that's gonna the first 2 episodes of Sports Dynasty MLB will be out. Go check those guys out. Cause I don't know jack-ish about baseball. They do. Trevor will be in that. So him and our new co-host Anthony's gonna be there. Go ahead and check those guys out. They're awesome.
If you're an AL East fan, Yankee fan, Red Sox fan, you're gonna love our episode we had on the AL East. Also, we're gonna discuss the American League Central. You know, that's that division already. A couple of fans that's fans of the AL Central, so it'll be fun. It's gonna be so much fun. So I can't wait to get started on that too. Stay tuned. You know, we're here, man.
You already know, baby. You already know.
Let's go.
That all said, guys.
Right. Peace, love, and applesauce, guys.
Bye-bye.